outside of maybe me, thought this was going to happen. You agree, right? You remember that. But you remember it.
I don't know, and I don't. Honestly,
but you remember it. Be honest with it.
I don't.
Bob and Jeff, afternoons at 2 on KFH. Got something you want to say? Voice it now on the Odyssey app, and we might even use it on the air. Open the Odyssey app, go to KFH, and click on that microphone to send a voice message right to the KFH studio. We can't wait to hear what you have to say. In Odyssey's sports station, this is 97.5 and 1240 KFH, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, Wichita's most listened to sports radio.
Hey, Wichita, it's Jacob Albrock. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily, coming up next exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence is expected to have surgery in the coming weeks to repair an AC joint injury in his left shoulder and will miss the rest of the season, according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shire's 3-game suspension following the illegal hit on Trevor Lawrence was upheld by hearing officer Ramon Foster, who was jointly appointed by the NFL and NFL Players Association. Al-Shire will miss the team's Week 15 matchup with the Dolphins, followed by games against the Chiefs and Ravens. Meantime, the Ravens are suspending wide receiver Deontay Johnson for 1 game for conduct detrimental to the team. Ravens EVP and general manager Eric DaCosta releasing a statement saying in part, quote, Deontay's suspension stems from refusing to enter our game against the Philadelphia Eagles. In 4 games with the Ravens, Johnson has a total of 1 catch for 6 yards on 5 targets since being traded from the Panthers. Baltimore is on a bye this week. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
Hey, welcome in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Glad to have you with us on this Thursday edition. A lot of fun. We got TJ Cleland from 12 News. Sports director over there in for Tommy today. Glad to have TJ in here. Should be a fun show as we had a busy night of college hoops. We're getting you ready for a big-time Thursday night football game tonight. Big day on the recruiting trail for K-State. Glad to be here with you today on this edition of Sports Daily. Look, we had KU be very disappointing last night. We had Wichita State look very impressive, very different sorts of opponents, certainly, but we'll get into both of those. We'll look ahead to tonight and the betting football weekend later this hour. Our betting insider, PJ Glasser, joins the program at the bottom of the hour. Looking forward to that. We've got Tim Fitzgerald, our K-State insider, at the top of the next hour. Good timing as K-State gets perhaps its best recruiting news in a while. Some could say ever. Lincoln Cure, he hushes the doubters. He sticks with K-State. But we'll get into all of that. The IHOP hotline will be open for you otherwise at 869-1240. IHOP, the official breakfast partner of Xbox, celebrating with exclusive Xbox merchandise, games, reward offers for loyalty members. We'll give away some HTO later in the program as well. All kinds of good stuff for you today. TJ, good morning. How are you?
Hello. Feels weird clocking in at 9 o'clock like a normal person usually does when they clock in at the normal corporate hours. So usually probably still in bed at this point, but we're making some lifestyle shifts. If I'm not on the golf course, I'm usually in bed, I guess.
Yeah, look, it's a good time of the year. It's cold today. We had a catastrophe this morning getting on the bus because my son, who's in kindergarten, could only find one glove. It is that time of year, right? The weather. We had a great day yesterday, not today, but that kind of just signifies college basketball. We had 2 games last night. College basketball is in full swing. KU, worst game of the year, obviously, against Creighton. Wichita State bounces back nicely against one of the worst teams in college basketball. So we watched that last night, and it's a very interesting conflict of the styles of game. But let's start with KU, and we'll get to the shockers. But let's start with KU. I'm not going to be overly concerned, TJ, about that loss. Creighton hit all their big shots. Creighton had struggled lately. They shot, 40+% from 3, 50% in the first half. You go on the road and you face a team that shoots 50% from 3 in the first half, you're going to be down most of the time. And that's especially when you play a team like Creighton. It's interesting because Creighton has the nice big player. It's kind of like the Duke game, right? They challenged KU to win on the outside, just like Duke did, and they didn't do it this time. Furman, you play Furman and you can just kind of dominate down low. You play Creighton, they're going to make you shoot the ball. And they did, and KU's guards took the vast majority of shots in this game. You had a combined 10 shots from Hunter Dickinson and KJ Adams. So I would say that Creighton imposed their will in this game, and KU just didn't hit enough shots.
Yeah, Bill Self talked about it in the post-game press conference last night. I was listening to a little bit of it, what I could catch, and Creighton beat them by making KU play like KU played last year whenever they went and struggled. It's because they had to shoot the ball from outside, and last year they didn't have anybody that can do it, and they picked a good night to do it because Rylan Griffin didn't play for the Jayhawks. So they lost their best shooter from outside, frankly. Pretty much left it all to Zeke Mayo to make the shots because he's really kind of their only outside shooter whenever you take him out, him and David Coit probably. Excuse me. And they made him do it. They made him, play outside, took away Hunter Dickinson because that was their best player last night. And as you said, they have Kalkbrenner, their big guy inside. He had 17 points, but whenever you're playing a team like Creighton, if it's going to be a good game, he's going to probably have 20 points. They lost the game because Papa Isaacs had 27 and made 6 3-pointers or whatever it was. They couldn't slow down their hot shooting, and KU couldn't make a 3, and that's really what it boiled down to.
Yeah, and look, Pop Isaacs is a name we've heard for a long time in college basketball. He played at Texas Tech for a little while, so Big 12 fans very familiar with him, but that was, that's kind of what he is when he's at his best. The problem, I think, for me, the biggest, I don't know if I guess it's a concern. It's fine. It's college basketball. The top teams all lose games. But I think with Griffin out, it seemed to change what they're going to do. DeJuan Harris shouldn't be taking 21 shots. Now, I think we have all thought he could take more, and he took 9 threes. That's not what KU wants to do. 21 shots from DeJuan Harris. So you get just a little bit of a flashback to last year, right? The depth, they lost Arterio Morris before the season ever started, and they never really recovered from it. And so depth was a big goal this offseason. We think they addressed that, but here one of those guys goes down, or even if it's just a game, and it's like, okay, now the team looks a little flawed again. And so, look, I'm not going to make too much of this. That was a true road game in Omaha. UConn lost there last year and won the national championship. So it's not that big a deal. I think if you're looking for anything big picture, it's, what happens when the guards are forced to play well and make shots. But that's also what Duke wanted to do, and they beat Duke, right? Neutral court. So I'm willing to just be like, whatever. But I think if we're going to watch anything, it's when the guards have to step up. This is what teams did to them last year, right? Like you make the guards beat you, and can they do it? And they brought in players that ought to be able to do it.
Yeah, whenever you look at the Duke game, they honestly, in my eyes, they won that game because the first 5 minutes of the game, they got out to a 15-2 start or whatever because they made so many 3-pointers and the shooting was so hot. And they've really kind of shot the ball really well so far this season, and just a complete 180 over improvement of what they were last year, of really not having an outside shot at all. And, hot shooting can only last you so long whenever it's hot shooting. You kind of have to have a baseline law of averages. This one was on the other side of that. They didn't make as many three-pointers as they needed to win the game. And when you get in a shootout like this against a team that's going to make whatever they made, like 12 or 13 three-pointers, you got to be able to make shots. And as I keep saying, it was just last year's game. It was the exact same thing that we saw last year down the stretch when they were losing games to UCF and stuff like that in conference play, and almost losing to Samford because they couldn't make three-pointers. So if you beat KU, you got to do it like that.
I'm going to tell you this, though. Hunter Dickinson's 24 years old. Okay. He is a Naismith candidate. I would assume he's one of the more, well thought of and compensate. Like you cannot go into a game and have Hunter Dickinson take 4 shots. You just can't do it. And Rick points out that the whistle was rough and there were some no calls there. And I agree with that, Rick, but you're on the road in Omaha. The whistles are always going to be tough in that environment. You don't think they're going to be tough on the road in the Big 12? You don't think they'll play teams better than Creighton in the Big 12? Because they will. And so I don't care what any of the circumstances in any game are. You can't have games where Hunter Dickinson takes 4 shots if you're KU. That just doesn't make any sense. And we go back to the Duke game with him. He was far more active, but he got himself taken out of the game. So, Dickinson's got to be better. I mean, he's the leader on this team. He's got to be better. And I'm sure he would tell you the same thing. But you don't get any more experienced than Hunter Dickinson is. And he has got to impose his will regardless of the opponent. That's what he is. It's what he needs to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like this was kind of a showing. Everybody always asks the question about why college bigs don't get drafted in the NBA high and why they don't flourish in the NBA when they get there. And it's because the NBA is a shootout every single night. They can shoot the ball at unreal clips. And that's why the games are always high into the 100 points and everything like that. And then whenever you get into a shootout, you really can't work an offense around a big because it just slows everything down. You're going to get into set offenses trying to get the ball to your bigs. And last night, that's not what KU needed, unfortunately, and that stinks because it's your best player. But, whenever they're going down and making a 3 with 10 seconds left on the shot clock and really speeding up the pace play, KU doesn't have time to work a set offense and get Hunter backside, pinning his man, trying to get the shot that he likes to do so much.
See, I think they have to, though, because I don't think they're a good enough shooting team. Unless these players, shoot better than what they have. They're a better shooting team than they were last year, don't get me wrong. But I don't think KU is going to come into this season and be one of the, top shooting teams in the country. When you're KU, you impose your will on the opposition, right? And at some point later in the year, KU will be one of the better defensive teams in the country. And, they'll have the grace to be able to do it. Creighton shot the lights out last night. Again, JB chimes in. College basketball losses mean very little in November and December. Be more worried about injuries or anything like that. Totally agree. That's a loss to Creighton in Omaha. Not that big a deal. Wash your hands of it. That doesn't mean when you're the number 1 team in the country, when the aspirations are a national championship, though, this year, it doesn't mean we shouldn't, get out the magnifying glass and try and find those little things that we'll watch for later in the year, because probably in, I don't know, November, December of last year, when we started to see some concerning things, we probably would have gone back to the same cliche. It's just, it's early in the year, no big deal. And they never got better for KU. So, this was a great thing for them if they use it the right way. Got to use it the right way. Nice little transition to the Shockers, who got their butts smoked by Florida in a holiday tournament. Did they use it the right way? Certainly appears that they did. We'll go to that game. TJ was there. We'll get to some of the reaction to the Shockers' big win over one of the worst teams in college basketball. We'll call it what it is, but they did literally exactly what they were supposed to do, according to the odds makers, if you look at those kinds of things. But we'll get into that when we return. The IHOP hotline will be open for you. PJ Glasser joins us a little bit later in the show, so make sure you tune in for that. Want to say thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up each and every morning here on KFH. Glad to have you with us. It's Albrecht and Cleveland today on a Thursday. Don't go away. We're coming right back.
.97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
8310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
On your way into work, want to keep listening to Sports Daily even after you park the car with the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com, you can. Just download the app, visit Odyssey.com, search KFH. You can listen to this show in podcast form at your convenience. We got about 10,000 people a month downloading the podcast. So check it out that way. If you miss anything, you can go back. It's segmented out. It's great. It's right there for you. Just download the Odyssey app. All kinds of great content and programming there for you, by the way. We're going to get into K-State's big day on the recruiting trail, Lincoln Cure. That's all coming up in just a little bit. Second hour, we'll have Tim Fitzgerald in as well. TJ talked to Lincoln Cure yesterday. We'll get to all that. Recapping college basketball from last night before we go to some football talk and some betting talk with PJ Glasser next segment. KU, disappointing loss. Wichita State wins right at the number of what Vegas put them at. 24-point win. That's what they were supposed to win by. Alcorn, not a good team. I think, TJ, it wasn't the prettiest, but they did what they were supposed to do. And it makes me they really miss Harlan Bever. They really miss Ronnie DeGray. And I think that right now, this is going to be fascinating before conference play to see how they continue to adjust to that development. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you were at Coke last night, and it kind of looks like Corey Washington's going to have to be that guy a little bit to some, even though that's out of position, I think, for him. And look, he rebounded the ball well last night, but I don't know what else they're supposed to do.
Yeah, when you look at the game last night, obviously they won by 24 points. And so when you look at the, box score, probably looks that they did everything well. But, just watching that game, the amount of, kind of just sloppy possessions on offense that they kind of got bailed out of that they were playing Alcorn State. They gave up just like it felt like an offensive rebound every other possession to Alcorn State. They out-rebounded them on their side of the glass a ton. It felt like they could not get anything done, and that really hurts because they gave up 20 offensive rebounds to Florida in the huge loss the game before. And, Coach Mills was talking about it and really harped on that. That's something that they worked on for the entire week. They can't let that happen or they're going to lose by 40 to Florida when they play good teams like that. So they're lucky they played Alcorn State, the ninth worst team in the country, according to Ken Pomeroy. So they definitely got bailed out on some aspects of it. But I don't know if it even is a Ronnie DeGray problem. Obviously, I think that it is a physicality thing, which I guess could translate to being a Ronnie DeGray problem. Whenever you lose a pair of legs, you're going to be more tired out there. But it just feels like they're just not playing as hard as they should be. And if they get into conference play playing like that, they're going to get bit.
Here's what I like about that test. I believe Alcorn, like, they don't do a lot of things well. One of the things that they do well is offensive rebounding, I think. I think that's what I think it was Kevin Saul who mentioned. Somebody mentioned that. Like, that's the one thing they do well. So, again, like, I don't know how Wichita State is going to, at this point, make rebounding their strength. I don't know that that's going to be in the cards for them. They can try. I think, you listened to Paul Mills earlier in the week too. I don't think running Quincy and Mate out there at the same time seems like something they want to do. That's when the game got away from them a little bit against Florida. So I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how correctable that is because of the injury. So what can they do otherwise? I mean, I guess you got to take care of the basketball, but even bigger emphasis. If you're not going to win the rebounding battle, you definitely can't turn the ball over. And that is, and then you got to hit some shots. And so last night, look, it was fine. Quincy Ballard did his thing. They were bailed out from three. Not bailed out. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. AJ McGinnis picked up the slack from three and had a really nice outside shooting night. And I think with the Shockers, you just kind of need somebody to be hot from outside. I don't think this is going to also, like KU, be an elite 3-point shooting team, but they got to be able to hit enough of them and utilize the ability. They haven't turned the ball over this year much. The 10 last night, they've been pretty good taking care of the ball. They just got to learn how to play without Ronnie DeGray for a while. I mean, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks as of like Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AJ McGinnis is a guy that they really hope they could bring in and give them the outside shooting that they didn't have last year. Him, Corey Washington, and Justin Hill for that fact, but more so McGinnis. I think that his job to come in was just to sit around on the outside and be a sharpshooter. And last night, obviously, kind of a tune-up game. Whenever it's 24-point spread, you realize that you're going to have a tune-up game a little bit. And Paul Mills said that Yeah, he knew he was going to get that opportunity, went out there and kind of got the hot hand, saw some go in, which could really help the depth of Wichita State down the road to have a guy you can come in and shoot, because, you bring in Xavier Bell off the bench, he's going to, bring you some physicality, he's going to bring you some good defense, but he's not going to make a lot of three-pointers. So A.J. McGinnis coming off the bench, if he can keep that up, really going to help the Shockers. But, you asked, what's even correctable about the way that they played last night. It just feels like right now that Wichita State basketball doesn't know their own identity. Paul Mills coach teams are typically teams that are going to, run sets and run plays and kind of set you to death. They're gonna slow everything down, run through that stuff. They push it fast, but what Paul Mills is good at is really setting up set plays like that. And this team's kind of built around that. When you have a 7-foot guy, you have 3 or 4 guys that can handle the basketball. And last night it was just kind of sloppy. They didn't turn it over again, but whenever you're playing North, those are probably going to be turnovers.
Yeah, and look, I agree on having all the guards. The other thing is a lot of assists, which we saw that last night, but this seems so like fundamentally silly. But this team must hit a lot of free throws. They have to shoot a high percentage from free throw because they have the ability to get to the line a lot. Like Justin Hill, Xavier Bell, some of these guards that just crash down. Like if they hit a ton of free throws, it's going to keep them in games. They'll become very dangerous on a good shooting night from outside, and they need to be able to rely on Quincy Ballard to become, honestly, one of the better centers in the conference consistently so that they can rely on that offense. And we'll see how Mate develops. I think Mate's an interesting story to watch this year and how he develops. I think defensively, he hasn't been there yet. Can he get there? And then I know that they want to encourage him to be very aggressive offensively. And so his development's going to be a big story to watch now, especially with DeGray out. Because DeGray is kind of that smack. We've seen guys like Ronnie DeGray at Wichita State forever, right? Big, physical. Maybe their stat lines are interesting, but when you watch the games, you always know they're there. They're always there for you. And so, Zach Brown kind of guys. And I think his absence is going to be sorely missed. I hope he can come back quickly. Never would have thought about that coming into the year, right? Like if you talked about all the things, but early in the season, you could see what his impact was going to be, and it was big. But the Shockers get it done against Alcorn State. East Tennessee State, who's not too shabby, comes to Wichita and plays Saturday at Koch Arena. And then a true road game at DePaul should be a great test. And you got K-State looming a little bit later. What are we away? We're about 16 days away from that K-State game, which should be very interesting. But the Shockers get it done last night. Of course, you heard it right here on the Odyssey family over on KEYN. One email came in from Bryce. He says Alcorn should be scheduled as one of the first games played. Did not help the program at all. Koch Arena appeared to be less than half full. I don't totally agree. Scheduling is very difficult, Bryce. I don't think the intention or the goal was to go in and play Alcorn on December 5th, but teams all over the country are still filling up their schedules with those kinds of games, and teams all over the country on a Wednesday night 6:30 tip are not filling up their arena yet. Creighton did against KU, right? You got to win games. They got to win games. They got to be competitive in the conference. That's the only thing that's going to get fans and butts back in that arena at the clip we're used to. And if you want more on that, go listen to the interview with Kevin Saul yesterday on the Odyssey app. We talked about that. Asked him about that very thing. So keep it tuned there. We got a big Thursday night football game. I'm ready to make some money tonight. TJ, it's been a minute for a big hit. It's just ridiculously, excruciatingly close on Monday night. Let's see what PJ Glasser has for us tonight. One of the premier games of the year. I cannot wait for this game tonight. We'll have it. We'll have that conversation. We'll look to conference championship weekend in college football and the NFL weekend as well. Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. That's a fascinating bet. We're going to have PJ Glasser in next to talk about it all. Don't go away. It's all Brockton Cleveland on Sports Daily. Coming right back.
.97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Tackle the NFL
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSTW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. Glad to be here with you on a Thursday. It is a fun Thursday. It is a Thursday night football that we are excited to get to. On the line, the host of Send It In, Odyssey Sports Betting Insider PJ Glasser. Insider Calls presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. Also, be sure to listen to the Send It In podcast for more analysis. Just search Send It In wherever you find your podcast. PJ Glasser in. PJ, how are you? Jacob Albrecht here. TJ Cleveland in for Tommy today. What's going on?
I'm doing great, man. PJ and TJ, I love it. Along with
That's
Jacob,
right.
it's going to be fun. So excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, PJ and TJ. You guys should coordinate on that somehow. That's good stuff. How could we not be excited? Look at this game tonight. I mean, come on now. I'm so mad. I'm so mad, PJ. Monday Night Football was a game for suckers like me to make a lot of money. Lots of points. All the players did well. And like an idiot, I put the same guy in two different big parlays. Vele didn't do anything and cost me both. Everything else smashes it. Tonight kind of feels like it's going to be a money-making game. How are you feeling about tonight's game?
Yeah, it does. It feels like we certainly could see some points tonight in Detroit. I really like the side. I really like Green Bay plus 3.5. I think Green Bay is going to win the game. I'd look at them money line as well, plus 155. Detroit, look, there's no value on betting Detroit at this point. You know, they have the best record in the league along with Kansas City. They're incredible against the spread. They cover the number every single week. But I think as we're starting to see as we get here later on in the season, especially when you get some of these divisional games like we saw against Chicago on Thanksgiving, the familiarity. Remember, Green Bay beat Detroit last year in Ford Field. And so they're not afraid. They know they can go toe-to-toe with the Lions. Both teams are dealing with some injuries. Lions looks like they're going to be without Decker, one of their offensive tackles. Packers are going to be without Jair Alexander, which is a big deal. So I'm with you, Jacob. I think we could see some points in this game. This is one of those games where you could definitely take some anytime touchdown parlays, look at some alternate overs. But I think Green Bay is going to win the game. So if you want to play it safe and get the 3.5, I think that's a great bet. But I certainly think money line's worth a look as well.
When you look at the lines in this one, obviously there's a storyline of Jared Goff in the domes and everything, but the Packers defense is what I think. I'm with you on the Packers there. Do you think that this is going to be a low-scoring game? Are you looking at the under in that, or do you think that it's going to be one of the shootouts that the Lions are accustomed to?
It's tough, you know. I mean, normally in these primetime games, you just blind bet the unders, and it's been extremely profitable, especially on the Thursday night games. We have seen some overs, though, especially when you get two teams going head-to-head. You know, we saw the over in Baltimore and Cincinnati, Philadelphia and Washington after a really slow start in the first half, really scored a bunch of points in the second half. So I think this game's going to be higher scoring. I would lean towards an over at 51.5. I don't like it as much as I like the Packers tonight, but if I had to bet the total, I do think we're going to get some points.
So if we think that, though, these are two teams that can both throw the ball and run the ball, where do you think the teams attack in this one as we might try to build out some same game parlays and things like that?
Well, Detroit's a running football team, and I think they're gonna stick with that. You know, everything that they do is predicated off the run. It's off of Montgomery and it's off of Gibbs, and that's how they won this matchup the first time around. You know, they really didn't need much from Goff. They just kind of leaned on their O-line and their run game. I expect them to do that. On the flip side for Green Bay, for them to win this game and for them to pull the upset on Detroit, certainly Josh Jacobs is going to have to have a good game, but Jordan Love is going to have to play really well also. So I think more so if you like the over in the game, you know, I would look at running back props for Detroit, and I would look at Love props and wide receiver props for Green Bay, because if you want to beat Detroit, you got to outscore them. So that's what Green Bay is going to have to do. I could see Josh Jacobs having a good game, but for them to pull off the upset, Love's going to have to be really good tonight.
It seems like the public is back on the Lions on this one. I don't know what the line history is on this. Is it moved any way towards the Lions? Do you see it moving anymore? Should I hold out until game time or anything? You think there's going to be any more movement here?
If you like Green Bay, I don't think there's any harm in waiting. I don't think we get a 3. I think it moves back to 4 before it goes down to 3. So if you want to wait and you like Green Bay, I certainly think you could see if some 4s pop up. If you like Detroit, though, I would just buy it down to 3 because, again, I think it moves to 4 before it goes back down to 3. I would swallow the juice, maybe -3, -135 or something like that. But yeah, I bet the Packers at 3.5. There's a chance it could go at 4, but I just wanted to make sure I got that hook with Green Bay.
All right, let's jump to Sunday Night Football, and then we can look at the rest of the slate here because Chiefs-Chargers is another fascinating game. I don't know if I'm surprised. The line's at 4 if I'm looking at BetMGM right now. I mean, I don't know how anybody with confidence could take that number with the Chiefs currently, which makes me think there's a reason it's there. I don't know. I kind of figured this as a 3 or a 2.5. Are you surprised that the Chiefs are given 4 at home with the way these games have been ending for them?
No, I'm not, because what this line is telling me that is if it was in SoFi, the line would probably be about Chiefs -1, -1.5, right? So that feels about right. Kansas City was on the road. It'd be pretty close. You give 2 points for home field at Arrowhead, right? So if it was a neutral, it'd probably be -2. Then maybe like a point for home field in SoFi, even though it'd be majority Chiefs fans. So the line, I think, feels right. I like Kansas City in the game. It feels like a good buy low spot on them. I mean, we all know the kind of what's happening with the Chiefs, right? They're winning all these games, but they're not covering spreads. They've been fortunate to win some of these games. It just feels like at some point that they're going to look like the Chiefs and they're going to kind of put a game together, especially on offense, and score some touchdowns. I think this could be the game. The Chargers all year, they're 8-4. All 8 of their wins have been when they've been favored in the game. They're great at being the team that when they're supposed to win a game, they win those games. You ask them to go up against teams when they're underdogs, though, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Cardinals, they don't win those kind of games. So, look, when the Patriots were going through their dynasty and we all kind of looked at the AFC East, they would always be challenged in that division. The Chiefs, it's kind of been the same way for them. They could have lost to Vegas. They could have lost to Denver at home, and they didn't lose those games. I don't see them struggling in all 3 divisional home games. I think they play pretty well on Sunday night. So I like Kansas City -4.
You look at the Chiefs, as you said, they win so many games, but they're chronic non-coverers, basically. Whenever a one-loss team, it feels like it should be a bit of a higher spread. I feel like in past Chiefs teams, especially with the old offense and everything. Do you think, Vegas is reacting more to, giving them smaller spreads, even though they're winning these games?
Yeah, definitely. Because look, the Chiefs are such a public team, right? Because people are afraid to bet against them with Mahomes, obviously, and Andy Reid and all that stuff. But I think now the perception is kind of what you guys have been talking about, right? It's like the Chiefs are winning, but they're still getting these numbers over a field goal. And it's like, we got to take the underdogs in these kind of games. So I certainly think they're adjusting. And they also realize that people obviously want to root against the Chiefs to begin with. They're so frustrated with how lucky and fortunate they've been to win a lot of these games that they already want to bet against them. And now they see a team that's not covering spreads and covering numbers, and they want to bet against them that way too. That I think the market is almost over adjusting just a little bit. And now we're starting to get some good numbers on the Chiefs. So again, I like a -4. If you just want to take them like in a money line parlay this week with another game on the board, because I do think there's some good other money line parlay options. I think you can do that. But I'm already on the Chiefs this week. I bet a -4.
All right, PJ, I'm gonna tell you my favorite bet of the week. You tell me if I'm crazy. I love the Browns and Steelers to go over 43.5. I haven't looked to see if there's weather there, but I mean, there's a good chance the Steelers can get at least one touchdown defensively when Jameis is in there. Jameis is slinging the rock all over the place, and their defense isn't very good. I am stunned that number's that low. Did nobody see the games played last week?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? I mean, both teams played in shootouts, and Jameis is the perfect over quarterback because he'll throw for a bunch of yards, always has been, right? Throws for a bunch of yards, touchdowns, and then obviously you get the pick sixes as well. Haven't done anything with the total. It's interesting because these teams did just play 2 weeks ago, so the familiarity there, and it was a low-scoring game in Cleveland. I know there was some weather, and it was a short week. I didn't do the total. I actually would lean towards Pittsburgh in the game, though, -6.5. Now, these AFC North underdogs have been incredible, like they normally are all season. The problem for me is that the Browns were just 6.5-point dogs in Denver, and now we're pricing the Steelers the same as we're pricing the Broncos, which I don't think is right. I think the Steelers are a better team than Denver is. So to me, under the touchdown, I think there's good value there on Pittsburgh. Look, Cleveland's with Jameis, obviously, they're a much better offense. They're a more competitive team. But the fact that the Steelers just lost to Cleveland, I can't see him beating them again. And the fact that we're pricing Pittsburgh the same as we're pricing Denver, I just don't agree with. So I like the Steelers -6.5. Would lean towards the over with you, Jacob, but I'm just on the spread in this game.
Switch over to the college ranks here, if you don't mind. Bowl or championship week, Penn State, Oregon, the Big Ten championship. You look at schedules that obviously the committee talks about so much. With Penn State's schedule, they lost to Ohio State and didn't really play a bunch of other teams. They play undefeated Oregon, and it's 3.5. I think is the line that I saw. It feels like Oregon's going to crush that. Do you agree with that?
It's tough, right? It almost feels like it's too easy because Oregon's undefeated. They're number one. We all know when it comes to Penn State and these big games and James Franklin, they just don't win them. It's just what they are. So I think a lot of people like Oregon. I'm just going to the first half. I like Penn State in the first half +2.5. A lot of it's been because of what Oregon's done this season in some of their marquee games. I look at the Boise State game, the Ohio State game, and when they played at Wisconsin a couple weeks ago. They were losing to Wisconsin and Boise State at halftime in both games. They were up 1 against Ohio State. So Oregon's kind of been a second-half team this season. They have shown so far this year in some of these big games, they have gotten off to sluggish starts. And look, I think Penn State, it's such a great opportunity for Penn State because they know that win or lose, obviously if they win, they're in the playoff, but even if they lose, they're going to be in the playoff as well. How great would it be for them to get the confidence to knock off a great team before they head into the playoffs? So I think Penn State, their defense is for real. They got off to a good start in that Ohio State game. They were up 10-0. I think they can get off to another good start against Oregon. But again, I don't want to trust them for the full 60 just because they don't win these kind of games. It's just what they do. So I like Penn State first half +2.5. I didn't touch full game. But yeah, that line, it does feel a little fishy. It feels like Oregon or pass full game, but I like Penn State the first 30 minutes.
Big 12 game is where we're focused on. We didn't get Kansas or Kansas State in there like we thought we might have at the beginning of the year, but it's an interesting game. Arizona State's as hot as any team in college football, but Iowa State looked really good last week. Do you like a side here in the Big 12 title game?
Guys, of all the Power 4 championship games that we have, I like a side pretty much in each of the 3 games, but this one I have no idea. It's a
That's
coin
the Big
flip.
12 this year. I mean, honestly.
Truly, it is, right? Like you said, Arizona State, I mean, they're hot right now, and they're playing great football. They're running it with Scatterbo. Their defense is playing well. Iowa State with Matt Campbell, it's kind of looking like a vintage Iowa State team that we saw, 3, 4, 5 years ago. They don't beat themselves. So, the line I think is perfect at 2.5. I think it's a field goal type game. It comes down to the wire. I wish I could give you guys a definitive play. I think the best thing to do in this game is just to bet it live. We've seen some instant classics in the Big 12 championship before, right? Whether it was TCU, Kansas State a couple years ago, Baylor, Oklahoma State that came down to the wire. It feels like another one of those games. So I think if one of these teams gets up double digits, you have a chance to bet the other side live in this game, maybe +7.5, +8.5, something like that. I think that's the way to bet the game. I think it's too hard to call off the top. So I'll just bet the game live. And if you had to make me pick the game, I probably would take the Sun Devils to win it.
One more for you, PJ, and it's really a simple one. And if we haven't covered it, football, college, NFL, what is it? What's the bet we can't miss this weekend?
I mean, I'll give you guys 2. I'll give you one in college. I'll give you one in the NFL. The one in college is I love Georgia this week, +3 against Texas. I think the case for people to like Texas is recency bias. They look great against A&M. Georgia obviously struggles with Georgia Tech. And then it's tough to beat a team 2 times, right? We saw Georgia go into Austin, and we saw them handle Texas. The problem is, though, guys, when those 2 teams played the first time around, it's not like it was a close game. I mean, Georgia was up 23-0 at halftime. They dominated that matchup. And if you give Kirby Smart a week to play the underdog card and tell his team that the team that they went into Austin and beat, and now they're underdogs again to that team, I expect Georgia to come out and play really well again. So I like Georgia +3. I'd take money line there. And then give me the Chicago Bears +4 against the 49ers. I think we can all agree it's just not the Niners' year. The injuries continue to pile up. Their season's kind of unraveling on them. And now with Eberflus fired, we see this all the time across any kind of sport, kind of get that dead cat bounce, they call it, right? Kind of teams get lifted with that. Clearly, they didn't want him there as the head coach. And I love the narrative play with the Bears this week, guys, because Eberflus never won a road game on a Sunday when he was Bears head coach. Never won a single road game on a Sunday. So wouldn't it be something the first game where he's not there, the Bears go on the road on a Sunday and win a game? I think it could happen. I like Chicago +4.
I love that. I love it. All right, PJ, let's make some dang money. Let's get ridiculous with some long shot lottery tickets, same game parlays with 2 good offense, and let's make some money tonight.
Let's do it, guys. Great talking with you. Good luck. Talk to you next week.
Appreciate it. Host of Send It In, Odyssey Sports Betting Insider PJ Glasser. Those insider calls presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. All right. We've got you all set up then for tonight. We're going to make some money tonight. I can feel it in my bones. I got my lucky bracelet on. My daughters keep making me these bracelets. This one's going to be the one. And we're going to do it. We're going to have that night tonight, and we're going to enjoy it. And I love this game. I love this game. Lions Packers.
I'm glad that I'm validated because I love the Packers in this game too.
It's it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't like either side of it, but I do like some of the props. I kind of like a lot of the props, actually, because especially the Lions. I have felt like, and I should have asked PJ this, I have felt like the Lions have been one of the best betting teams for those same game parlays because it's so clear. They funnel everything to their 4-star players, basically, the 2 running backs and the 2 wide receivers, and they get like everything in these games. And they're at home. So they've been a real good betting team most of the year. The Packers, maybe not quite as much, but, they've got a bunch of star players. I mean, it's kind of Josh Jacobs or bust because they have about 26 receivers that they like to throw to.
Yeah, I saw somebody joking around on social media that every single week in a Lions game, you could probably just bet straight bets of every one of their top 5 touchdown scorers, and you'd be profitable because it's unreal that everybody scores every single.
Well, they kick it old school. Like if you're a fantasy football player, if you're whatever, like they're not teams now spread the ball around. They do all these things. The Lions go old school. Like here's our star players, stop them. Right? That's kind of what they do. Like these are the guys, you know who they're going to be. Everybody knows who they're going to be. You know exactly who it's going to be, and now you got to stop them. And that's pretty much what they do. But should be a really, really fun matchup. What an opportunity for the Packers, honestly, to get out there and show something. They may be the least talked about 9+ win team in football. Nobody talks about the Packers.
It is unreal. We were making the picks last week, and I was looking that up, and I'm like, man, I feel like I've gotten the Packers wrong so much. And it's like I looked at it, and I mean, they only have 2 losses in North America. They lost in South America week 1, and their defense.
And one of them was a Jordan Love injury loss, or maybe both of them had to do with Jordan Love's injuries. Whatever it is. Yeah, it should be a fun one tonight. But that game, you'll hear it right here on KFH. Westwood One coverage begins at 6:30. So make sure you stay tuned for that. All right. We're going to take a quick break here. We're going to get Tim Fitzgerald in here. We're going to get some of TJ's conversation with Lincoln Cure in the second hour. I believe we have that entire conversation. So Max should have that for us. So we'll get in with Fitz, and then we'll come back. We'll play that pretty quick interview with Lincoln Cure, get his inside his brain. You'll be fascinated by it. Everything that went into that decision and how last minute it was. So I have all that coming up for you in the second hour. Let's give away some HTO on our way out of this hour. All you got to do to win some HTO is text the keyword TEA to the short code 20357. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. What you can get is a free iced tea, sweet or unsweet, a free coffee drink, iced or hot. Good luck, everybody. These will be good at either Wichita location or at the Derby location. We're coming back. Hour number 2. Tim Fitzgerald, our KState Insider, recruiting talk, all kinds of good stuff next on Sports Daily.
In Odyssey Sports Station, this is 97.5 and 1240 KFH, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, Wichita's most listened to sports radio.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSTW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. It is a Thursday. We'll get connected here in a few minutes, we think, with Tim Fitzgerald, our KState Insider. Go powercat.com. TJ Cleveland in for Tommy today. We're having a little fun. We'll tell you about Crestview Country Club and all the fun stuff they've got coming up in the winter. All kinds of events, a Christmas lunch today. The restaurant's open, still thriving. They're getting ready for some Christmas events. They're getting ready for New Year's. All that stuff. It's more than just the golf, the tennis, whatever the sports aspect of it is that you like. Give them a call. Ask them about those memberships that feature just some of that stuff. We appreciate their support of the program and want to send you over there. All right, TJ, let's dig in here just a little bit to the day that K-State had yesterday. It all predicated. I mean, the biggest storyline across the country is Goodland's leak and cure. One of the real true, maybe flip, maybe not. I mean, it certainly was for us. And it's wild how much smoke there ended up being, but it was more than smoke, right? There was some fire there. There was a real chance he was going to Oregon.
Yeah, whenever you see I think On 3 projected the crystal ball of him going to Oregon. I don't know if 247 did too, but I think that they did. And, those guys aren't wrong very often. They typically get it right if they got that, because if they're going to say that, they've got it on pretty good authority. And it sounds like they had it on pretty good authority. Lincoln Cure talked to him. He said he stayed up all night long, last night, and was up until he had a Zoom call with Coach Kleiman at 7 a.m. to sign his letter of intent. And he still didn't know what he wanted to do at 6:30, 30 minutes before. He said he made the decision about 15 minutes before, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go to KState. Let's do it. And he said either option was a good option. And, I can't blame him for, obviously he was committed to K-State back in July. And, a lot of people, give a lot of slack to high school kids for, flipping their commitment and stuff like that. But, when you've got Dan Lanning calling you the number one team in the country in Eugene, Oregon, and, everything that goes along with that, it's tough not to answer that call. He did. It was a 50-50 shot like it was when he originally committed, he said. And, yesterday, thankfully to K-State fans, it was the Cats that he chose. And the pin is on the paper, so the drama is now over.
Yeah, for next year it is. And you've got to revisit some of these things in the off seasons and get ready for them. All right, let's go to TJ's conversation as we wait to connect with Fitz, and we'll get that connection. So while we wait here, Max has this. So TJ caught up with Lincoln yesterday, right after the decision was made. Max, let's play that. We'll play TJ's conversation, and then we'll get a reaction to that. We'll get Fitz in here to react to that, see what that day was like for him too. But here goes that conversation with TJ and Lincoln Cure.
Big day, pen to paper. Just how wild has the whole journey been? And now you're at the finish line. How does it feel?
It's been crazy. From that first offer from K-State to officially signing my letter of intent. It's been a roller coaster. Nothing I would have expected. Everything I hoped for, but it was honestly crazy. Even last night I didn't even get any sleep. I didn't know where I was going to go, to be honest. I had a whole Oregon commitment graphic made, and it could have gone either way. But I'm extremely happy with the decision I made, and I'm grateful for everything.
I know that, back when we talked, whenever you made your commitment and everything, of all the reasons why it was K-State, and then, Oregon kind of, pushed pretty hard, I imagine. Was it the same reasons for K-State all this time later?
Yeah, the same reasons, same love for them. I'll always have that love for them, being a fan as a kid and everything like that. But, they were always there for me. They always had my back, and that always stood out to me.
I know that a lot of people probably don't realize that once you commit, people kind of think that it's over. But I'm sure that after you commit, you still got, coaches talking to you and everything. And obviously Oregon still talking to you. Take us behind the curtain. What's that like to be committed, have other people talking to you? What's the whole process like?
Yeah, if somebody were to really want their recruitment to shut down when they first commit, they need to just shut off the phone, delete all the contacts, because either way it's coming. And it's tough not to flirt around with those schools, because of course even not on my first commitment, it was Oregon or K-State, and I still always had that love for Oregon. So yeah, that never left me, and it was, you know, I kind of had two different way different options. I could have gone with that route to Oregon and then route to K-State, but yeah, they continue to recruit me throughout the season. And obviously, you know, number one team in the nation, it's super you know, attractive to look at something like that. But yeah, they continue to recruit me, and you know, they're kind of like K-State. I love the coaching staff. I love the relationships I have there, and they always continue to have my back. You know, always reaching out to me, and it wasn't just one or two coaches. You know, I'd have Coach Lanning calling me this week, the tight ends coach calling me the next week, and then just some people on the staff. So love my relationships with Oregon, but yeah, it never really stopped. You know, my phone didn't really have a lot of text messages about for 2 weeks after I committed, but yeah, it came pretty fast after that.
You know, they're reaching out to you, and I know Taylor Bratt specifically is pretty notorious for, you know, staying on these recruits' line and everything like that. I'm sure K-State's coming at you the same way, you know, with all the Oregon stuff ramping up and, you know, crystal balls and everything went like that. Was K-State still, you know, like, hey, like we're still right here?
Yeah, they're calling me every week and always texting me, and Taylor was always on my butt. So yeah, I great relationships with them, and they always stayed in the race with me.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that, you know, you're on social media. I'm sure you try to tune out all this stuff, but to be a high school kid, you know, you're the top headline that all these people are talking about, you know, before you committed, after you committed, this week especially. Just how wild has it been to you know, kind of have this much attention from everybody? Is it weird as a high school kid to have that?
Yeah, it's extremely weird, and you know, especially all the opinions and outlooks I can get from everybody, right? So you know, even rumors that I was going to flip to Oregon, K-State fans didn't really react with that very well, and they definitely let me know on Twitter. And but you know, people kind of need to understand that, you know, I'm still a kid. You know, I'm an 18-year-old kid making a decision that's going to affect the rest of my life, and a lot of people don't really realize that nowadays. And it's easy to, you know, to criticize somebody off of, you know, they didn't give your favorite team a look, or yeah, it's a crazy deal. But no, I'm appreciative of everything, and yeah, it's definitely crazy.
Shortage of college football fans talk to recruits on Twitter, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
When did you make the decision that you're sticking with K-State? Because as you said, it was kind of up in the air. When did you make that decision, and what was K-State's reaction when you let them know?
Yeah, it was probably 6:45 in the morning. Probably when I made the decision. I had a for sure decision. I had a Zoom to be on at 7 in the morning with with K-State to do the letters. So it was definitely like it was short timing. But yeah, that's how close the race it was. I mean, I was up all night going back and forth, thinking of every possible outcome of every situation, you know, thinking of life at each school. And there really was no wrong option for me. Either school would have been a great option, but I'm happy with the one I made.
Absolutely. So you said you're sticking around. Is track in the future? Is basketball in the future? What's life look like now?
Yeah, we have our first basketball game Friday in Cimarron, so that'll kind of start things off, and then yeah, after basketball season, straight into track season, trying to go get those state records that I missed out on last year. So I'm excited to you know, kind of stick around. Obviously, I've thought about graduating early. It would definitely benefit me, and it's in my best interest. But you know, living in a small town, you know, it's really important to give back to the community, do every sport I can, and dominate in every sport I can. And so I'm happy with the decision I made. Obviously, still anything can happen, but yeah, I'm planning on doing basketball and track and dominating in those.
Absolutely. That'll be awesome. And awesome news for Goodland fans out there as well, I'm sure. Last question is, whenever you commit, everybody always talks about that you get to put it away and just focus on your game and focus on football and everything. You know, probably when you're a 5-star, it's a bit different because you have people still reaching out. Now that the pen is actually to paper, it's confirmed that you can actually just put all that away and worry about sports and everything. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. You know, I still got a lot of text messages waiting for me to get to. I think about last time I checked is about 100 or something. So Still got some business to handle, but yeah, once all that's over, I'm really glad that I figured things out and it's over, and finally I can just be a kid again. I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. Well, I guess that we'll hope to see you in Hutchinson at a state basketball tournament then.
Yes, sir.
All right, there goes Lincoln Cure. Let's bring in Tim Fitzgerald here, KState Insider. Life of Fitz on X. Go powercat.com. Fitz, you thought he was going to Oregon. You thought he was going to Oregon, didn't you? Or did you? Did you think K-State? You heard him 7 a.m. Like makes a call like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I had a feeling he was going to Oregon, but K-State never had that feeling. Guys, I just want to point this out. Let's take everything, and I'm not pointing out Lincoln. This happens all across recruiting. Let's take everything that was just said, but apply it to relationships. So up until my wedding day, I was taking calls. I was still looking around. I was listening to all the other women and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And about 15 minutes before the wedding, I decided to go through with it. That's an exaggeration, but if you apply everything he just said to relationships, it becomes kind of comical. But that's recruiting. And a big part of this isn't about the kid. It's about schools that continue to, just pepper kids. That when they say out loud that I want this to settle down, so I'm committing, and then you continue to call them multiple times a day with multiple coaches, that's almost stalking at that point. It's kind of weird. And I'm not saying K-State doesn't do it, but that's the nature of this business. And this is kind of an ugly side of football, the way they woo recruits. Because the thing that people don't understand is you're one person when you're recruited. You're the most valuable piece of property, commodity thing ever. We're going to do whatever we need to do to get you here. When you're there, you're just a kid that needs to be yelled at and corrected. So recruiting is one of the most deceptive sales practices out there.
I think in your situation there, Fitz, I think Dan Lanning plays the home wrecker. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, well, in clarity, I had no other options. I'm sure my wife did, but I stuck with my commitment because I wasn't going to walk on anywhere.
You were trying to get a walk on to a D3. Not the great player and outkicked your cover your coverage in a big way.
It's all putting together there. Yeah, it fits.
You also probably weren't 18. I don't want to assume that. I mean, that's the other part that gets really hard for, I think, people to, there is a transactional side to this now that is more public than there used to be. There's always been a transactional side to this. Let's not kid ourselves. It's just more public now. And I think that, I think it's refreshing that people can be a little bit more open with that now. It is what it is. But he sticks with K-State. And it's a great decision. And look, TJ and I were talking about this yesterday in the office. It sounds like Oregon probably had a bigger initial offer. But here's what I've said from the very beginning of this and why this is better across the landscape. There was a long time when these transactional relationships were done behind the scenes where there were certain schools who just got all the players, right? Now you've got, maybe Oregon can make a better initial offer, but Oregon cannot offer the fact that Lincoln Cure has a chance to be a hometown kid, now able to sign endorsement deals, sponsorship packages. If Lincoln Cure is the kind of player he projects to be, there's not a car dealership in the state of Kansas or Western Kansas that doesn't want a piece of Lincoln Cure. So, the initial offer might be bigger at Oregon, but the overall earning potential for kids to stay close to home is higher than it ever has been. And I think we're seeing it. Let me ask you this. 10 years ago, any chance in the world K-State lands Avery Johnson or Lincoln Cure?
No. I believe that. And I think you're right. I think this is the evolution of college football and what the NIL has done. And I've pointed this out. Both of those kids you mentioned have greater value, exactly what you just said, in the state of Kansas, for Kansas State, than they would at Oregon. Both in terms of their NIL value, but Also, being able to have those kids in your program means a lot more to Kansas State because they are home state talent than it would to Oregon or Tennessee or other places. And we see a lot of bounce backs. Get kids that Dylan Edwards did it. Get somewhere and realize, yeah, this isn't the place for me. I need to go back where I know what life's like. I know everything around me. And it's, I've always joked that when someone from a big city asks me, why the hell do you live in Kansas? I literally say, look, Kansas is the state you marry. It doesn't have all the flash. It doesn't have, excuse the metaphor, giant mountains. It doesn't, have scenic views of oceans.
Some might call it flat here.
But it's stable and it's beautiful and
That's right.
it brings you happiness. So, I think there's a sense of that going on here too, that this is home and I can now play at high level at home and earn some money. And back to your point, Jacob, if I'm a farm implement company, a big one out in Western Kansas,
Every piece of Lincoln Cure. Yep.
You got it. Avery Johnson has a car dealership out of Salina that I've known him my entire life, literally. And they're not paying him because it's cool. They're paying him because it's financially prudent. And if I own a farm implement company out in Western Kansas, it'd be financially prudent to have this young man be your spokesperson. One, he's well-spoken. He's approachable. He just seems like a good human being like Avery. But he also will have a lot of credibility with your customers because they are the fans also. That wouldn't happen at Oregon. It just wouldn't.
All the off-field stuff is over with now. Obviously, the pins to the paper, so they kind of get ready to get him on the field after he's done playing basketball and track, by the way.
Yeah.
When he gets up there eventually, what is he going to do for this offense? Especially with Jace Brown rumors, who's going to catch these passes other than the, 4 tight ends that they have? Where does he fit in?
Yeah, that will be interesting because, as you mentioned, TJ, they have 3 really good tight ends right now. This is turning into tight end U. I mean, we got a young man at Great Bend who's next in line, a 5-star tight end out of the state of Kansas. What the hell's going on with this state and tight ends? Brame, down in your guys' neighborhood. I mean, the best top 3 players in over 2 years now are all tight ends. And I fully support Lincoln finishing out his career in high school. I think too many kids rush. They miss out. My last semester of high school will never be forgotten, mostly because I was an idiot. But things like finishing out sports seasons and prom and lifelong friendships. These aren't high school friendships. This dude has gone to school with his classmates, since they could walk, basically. That's a small town in Kansas. That's what it's about. And I'm glad he's doing it. Will it set him back with his career? Maybe a hair. But a lot of players have come in without the spring and gone ahead and played. If you're good enough, they're going to get you on the field.
I'm going to go back to your metaphor just because I can't help myself. If you can't have big mountains, you might as well have a tight end, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. In all seriousness, can Lincoln Cure help the Cats while Avery Johnson is the quarterback? This year fell just a little bit short, I think, of what we hoped for. I think it's probably a relatively realistic ending with as many young players as they had. But next year's the year. K-State's going to be the favorite, I think, to win the Big 12, depending on what happens in the portal. Is Lincoln Cure or any of these players coming in this signing class, are those players you think that can help in the Avery Johnson window, or is there still a lot of work to do in the portal?
There's work to be done, but Lincoln helps you. Because Lincoln gives you that rare tight end who you can split out, which a lot of tight ends do, but they're not viewed as a threat that we have to use someone other than a safety or linebacker on. And he's that. I mean, he's 6'6" with the frame of a tight end that will only fill out, and he can run like a receiver and catch like a receiver. And he's a true threat. And it gives you a lot of flexibility in your offense to line him up as a tight end and split him out. I was dreaming yesterday of a package where Dylan Edwards starts in the backfield and Lincoln Cure starts in an inline tight end, and all of a sudden so you put your personnel on the field as a defense to match that, and all of a sudden they're both split wide, and you got a linebacker or a safety on one of them probably. So I think that's the things that K-State needs to capitalize on. And honestly, I don't think they did a good job of it this year. So now trying to scheme to your talent has to be something you're interested in or accomplishing here between now and the kickoff of 25.
You just said it right there. Dylan Edwards, Avery Johnson, and Lincoln Cure are probably, three of the faster guys you're going to find at their positions. Do you see K-State, maybe going into the portal and helping kind of build on that? Obviously, they have a ton of tight ends. Where do they go from here? Are they going to be a team that kind of leans on the tight ends? Are they going to be a team that leans on their speed? Obviously, there's a lot of questions about the offensive coordinator. What's going to happen with this offense, you think?
All great questions, TJ. I'm not sure. I'm not. I'll say this: K-State uses its tight ends, but the tight ends at Kansas State run their routes the right way, and when they throw them the ball, they generally catch it. I can't say that about the receivers, either one of those things. So I think that's a big part of this is going to the people you can count on, and I think Lincoln will fit right into that. I do expect Kansas State to be in the portal. Looking for even more playmakers. And I know there's one on their radar from North Carolina State. His brother just signed. And I think everyone is cognizant of that. He not only, Nunu Concepcion, not only decommitted from North Carolina State, but he took a visit to Kansas State, and his family, with the exception of his brother, because he was playing, came to Kansas State to see it. And it just strikes me, it's like they were shopping for both. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, that'll be fun. One quick one, Fitz. Basketball this weekend. They scored 120 points against a bad team. That's great. They scored a bunch of points against Longwood. They're about to go and play their toughest test of the year at St. John's. St. John's metrically is a top 25 team. We know that's going to be a tough test. Wyatt Thompson earlier in the week, and I don't know if you've had a chance to watch them at all. Just they're a big physical team. This should be as interesting a game, I think, for K-State. It feels like a really bad matchup for them. Can they go to Queens and beat St. John's?
Yes. Will they? Probably not. They seem a little bit early in their progression as a team. Pine Bluff was the worst college basketball team I've ever seen, as far as Division I. But K-State just looked a lot more comfortable, shot the ball with a great deal of confidence, and I just think that this team is growing. St. John's might be a little bit ahead of itself, but also just as everything we thought we knew about a football schedule at the start of the year was proven to be true or untrue. Excuse me. I mean, Arizona State and Cincinnati weren't easy wins on the schedule, as it turned out, particularly Arizona State. I remember looking at the schedule and looking at the stretch at St. John's, Drake, and Wichita State, and I'm thinking, they're all pretty good teams now. So they're all going to get tests, give tests to K-State that they need. And this will be a good metric for seeing how far they've come, because the players feel like they came a long ways in the Islands despite that loss to Liberty in the semifinals. They feel like they really progressed as a team, not just on the court, but off the court, and bonding. And that's why you go in those tournaments. And we'll see what the result is Saturday. Our Ryan Gilbert will be in Queens to cover that game.
Nice.
With our vast travel budget. But we thought it was an important game for everything. We weren't going to cover it initially, and now we see it as a real a game that could decide the fate of this team. Are they going to keep improving, even if they lose? It's not about winning or losing. Are they going to get run over like they were by LSU at home, or are they going to go out on the road and compete and possibly win? This is kind of a mile marker for me with this team.
I agree with you. The 12 News budget does not have anybody going to Queens for that game. So if you need your coverage, go to gopowercat.com. Follow Fitz at Life of Fitz on social media. Fitz, we appreciate it. Exciting time. We've got recruiting day in the books. Everybody can breathe a sigh of relief. The big one sticks with K-State, and now we shift our attention to basketball.
Yep. And actually, Daphne wants to know if you got anything for her. She's been hanging around waiting for a question. She's now licking me while I ask this. I told her you're fine, but
Only were you brushing her ears?
Yes, poodle ears get to be mangled messes. So I find it great comforting in my soul to brush my dog while the voice of TJ was in my head.
Yeah, she
when
likes
they, when they told me I was coming on part-time, they didn't tell me I had to talk to Fitz. That was a deal breaker.
I know. They sneak that in there.
We don't tell people that. That's definitely
they always leave
not
out of
something.
the contract that you got to clean the toilets.
Yeah, that's right.
This toilet's bald.
It's bald and dirty. All right, Fitz. We appreciate it. Look for that
Thank you,
coverage
boys.
on the basketball game. GoPowerCat.com. There goes Tim Fitzgerald. We're going to take a quick break. Opens back up for you the rest of the way. That IHOP hotline is open at 869-1240. Exclusive Xbox merchandise games, reward offers for loyalty members there. So join us on the IHOP hotline. You can leave us your video comments. We got all kinds of stuff to get to. We got another full segment here coming your way. Don't go away. More Sports Daily right after this.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Patterson Legal is the way to go. Call 550-0000.
I'm attorney Tyler Patterson. At Patterson Legal Group, we deal with all.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSTW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. I mentioned Thursday Night Football tonight. That's actually moving over to KEYN tonight, or KNSS, I should say. So here, let me start over there. So Thursday Night Football, which normally airs on KFH, is moving to KNSS 1330, 98.7. Or sorry, no, it's just the AM dial. So it's KNSS AM at 1330. And then what you'll have on KFH is Shocker Women's Basketball tonight. That coverage begins at 6:15. So Shocker Women's Basketball here. And then Thursday Night Football over on KNSS AM 1330. All right. Speaking of football, TJ, let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs. We haven't really begun to dig in to this game with the Chargers, and I know we'll pick that game tomorrow as a part of our picks. This feels like a bad matchup for the Chiefs. Now, it's the Chiefs, right? And they should be able to win any game that they play. But you've got, a couple of good edge rushers, which we know can be a problem. We've got what's been, by a lot of, metrics, the best defense in football this year. And you've got a quarterback that, if you give him time and your pass rush isn't there, can absolutely shred you apart. If Bryce Young and Aiden O'Connell, for those teams, can get the best of the Chiefs secondary, Justin Herbert certainly can. Now, we don't know yet about Ladd McConkey. I'm going to guess he plays. Just a guess, just a shot in the dark. But this feels like a really good test. This is the kind of team that I think gives me the most concern for the Chiefs. This style of play that they'll face on Sunday night.
Yeah, historically speaking, this season and, past seasons, the Kansas City Chiefs are really good at two things: playing down to bad opponents and playing up to good opponents.
Sure.
Chargers are a pretty good opponent. It's a team that we're used to, kind of being a bad opponent in the lean years, the past couple of years, but they're pretty good. And as PJ said, they beat teams that they should beat. They don't beat teams that they really shouldn't beat thus far. So I would like to say this is a really good spot for the Kansas City Chiefs. I really don't know what's going on with the secondary, because, as you said, that it's the defense is what was winning them so many games. And the last 2 weeks, we've seen Bryce Young and Aiden O'Connell kind of slice up the secondary. I don't know if that's a Jalen Watson thing being out or
it's a lack of a pass rush thing to me. Yeah. It's both. It's both. You're not as talented as you were in the secondary. I think that's fair to say. And you're not doing them any favors by not putting any pressure on the quarterbacks. Now, Chris Jones was better in the game against the Raiders, certainly. And let's be honest, the Chiefs defensively were much better against the Raiders than they were the Panthers. They gave up a couple of big plays there at the end, and they couldn't find an answer for Brock Bowers. They can't ever really find an answer for any tight end. And they just happen to go up against what might be the best tight end in football this year in Brock Bowers. The Chargers will use one, though. They've used Will Dissly that way. So you got to find an answer to that. But if they could get a pass rush, it would help a lot of this. They've brought in enough players. At some point, they just got to play better.
Yeah, I don't really have any answers for the defense. It feels like the offense is a lot simpler of an equation, and it's because of the left tackle, pretty much, of the lack of offense. Patrick Mahomes, you especially saw it in this Raiders game. They were in the red zone, and he got sacked 2 times one time, it felt like. And just Wanya Morris was just missing dudes. And Kingsley Suamataia has gotten healthy scratched. So they haven't had an answer. DJ Humphries, I didn't listen to the Andy Reid press conference, but it seems like All the signs are indicating that Humphreys will be playing left tackle. If it's not going to be him, it's probably going to be Joe Tooney. So
He didn't look
you'd
good
have,
either, by the way.
well, yeah,
At
but,
left tackle. He's a great guard, but he didn't look good at left tackle.
I would agree with that. So hopefully it's Humphreys. Hopefully Humphreys plays really well because if he's in there, it could give them some new life. I see the Chiefs offense maybe having a spark that we really haven't seen basically all year. They really haven't had a great performance, maybe week one. So if Humphreys in there, I could see them, having a really great game, especially against the Chargers, which they always kill. Travis Kelce always kills the Chargers. I could see one of those games.
I mean, for me, it's keep it simple. Run the ball. And I know the Chargers are good. The Chargers are good everywhere on defense, but run the ball. If I'll put it to you this way, if the Chiefs run the ball 14 times again and let Mahomes throw it 46 times again, they're not going to win this game. I just don't think they will. I think the Chargers will tee off on that. They have got to try and commit to that run like they did early in the year. Like, of course, the defense isn't going to look as good when they're on the field more. These third down, can we get a second and a short run one time? You got Isaiah Pacheco back. He is as explosive as any element to your offense. And you've got a guy in Kareem Hunt who is literally built to just get smashed, right, if you run the ball a lot. And for whatever reason, the last 3 weeks, they have stopped running the ball with their running backs. That has to change. They must get it. Can we at least get 20? 25 carries in this game. And I know the Chargers would probably like to play the game that way. They'll let you do it. They don't want to get in a shootout either. So play them that way and go make the big plays with Mahomes when you have to.
Yeah, it really is interesting that right now, especially, they're not running the ball because, it would have made sense if this was happening in week 3 and week 4 when Pacheco got hurt and it was Carson Steele back there, but they still ran the ball then. Then they ran the ball and they got Kareem Hunt and it worked running the ball with Kareem Hunt. Now you've got Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco and Carson Steele for that matter. But you've got Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, which can coexist, I think. I don't know. There's a lot of different opinions on how that's going to go with Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt in the same offense. But you have two, this year, pretty quality running backs. And, I'm not going to disagree with you here. If they run the ball and those two guys, you can do it pretty well, I think.
I can't figure it out. I just can't believe it. And Andy Reid said Monday it's because they kept stacking the box. Good, let them stack it. Run it anyway, right? You got the best interior line in football, and you've got a couple of dudes back there who can at least move the sticks forward, right? And so we'll see. But it should be a good game. I do think it's a team that, and they're going to get this the rest of the way, right? I think they're going to, in every game they play the rest of the way, in their final 5 games, those 5 teams represent to me the greatest danger to the Chiefs, which is teams that have a great pass rusher, teams that can run the ball and have big playability in their pass game, right? And I think between the Chargers, the Browns, the Texans, the Steelers, and the Broncos, they see all of those things in all of those opponents. And I'm worried because the Raiders don't have all those qualities. They have the great pass rusher, but they don't have the other elements that scare you. And the Panthers don't have any of it. And they struggled against those two teams. So we'll see. It's the Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what I'm going to pick yet. I think I'm going to pick the Chargers because of the 4 points. I don't know where that line will be in the morning. I don't necessarily, I definitely wouldn't take them on the money line. But 4 points, the way these games have been played, just seems like too many points.
I think that it's what PJ said. I think that this is Vegas reacting. I think that if I was going to guess a spread for this game, I probably would have guessed a 5.5, 6 point spread. So I really like the Chiefs spread.
What based on what though? Based on what?
It's true. It's true. I mean, they haven't shown it to you yet, but when you have an 11-1 team, something's got to give eventually. And I really like the spot the offense could be in if they get the new left tackle in.
It's been a full calendar month since they beat somebody by more than 4 points. And the last time they did it was an overtime win, right, where they score the touchdown against Tampa. So really you could think of that as a tie game. That's kind of fluky. You got to go back. You just got to go back a long time.
Oh.
And I say this all the time. I'm not picking the Chiefs because if what scares you is that they keep playing close games, everything else aside, the thing that the Chiefs do better than any team is win close games. They have Mahomes. So that's logical, right? That you just feel like they keep winning these close games. And they're all going to be close, but that's where the spread gets really interesting. And we'll see. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. We'll stew on that a little bit. But it's all there for you. If you want to call, if you want to comment on it, you can. You can comment on our video streams. That's available to you on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. Of course, we're on 12 News Connected. Always appreciate that. And, of course, you can always go back and watch in the past. You can go back and listen in the past as well on the Odyssey app. Lots of ways to take in the show. Glad to have TJ in here in the mix now. Brandon Zenner in tomorrow, first hour. He's also in the mix now for Sports Daily. And then Paul will jump in. We'll make some picks. Tommy, I don't know yet if Tommy's going to be on for the picks, but he'll send us his picks either way as he's out of town and on vacation. Hopefully he can just kind of stay away and enjoy the family time. But either way, we'll have those picks for you tomorrow. And we'll pick that Chiefs-Chargers game. You can believe it. We'll come back. We're not done yet today. We're going to have more Sports Daily for you. It's Albrock. It's Cleveland. It is a Thursday, and we're coming right back.
$97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSTW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily, and we are glad to be here with you live on a Thursday. We will have Brandon Zenner in tomorrow, and then the full cast of characters to make picks. So look forward to that. Appreciate you being here. However it is that you take in the show over the air on KFH, maybe on the Odyssey app, on our video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, 12 News Connected, all kinds of different ways. Let's talk about this golden bat rule, TJ, your baseball guy. I just did a quick glance as we're coming in, and the headlines are all about the same, right? You get all these opinion pieces. Could tear apart the fabric of baseball. Look, I don't like endorse the idea. Basically, if you haven't seen it, Rob Manfred went on like a podcast and said that there have been conversations about what would be called the golden at bat rule, in which essentially one time a game you could pick your hitter and put them in any situation. So let's say it's the, I don't know, bottom of the ninth inning, you're down 2, bases are loaded. The Royals could say, you know what? I don't want Garrett Hampson to hit here. Let's bring Bobby Witt Jr. back up. There's obviously logistical nightmares that they would. This is an idea, by the way. And while I don't endorse it right now, I also don't hate it. It's not going to tear apart the fabric of baseball. The fabric of baseball is a pitcher pitches to a batter who hits and puts the ball in play. You know, like, come on. Like, let's be real here. Did the 3-point line tear apart the fabric of basketball? You could say that it did. It totally changed the game, right? This is nothing like that drastic a change. Banning the shift and putting in a pitch clock is far more impactful to the fabric of the game than adding this one-off rule. So it's not as big a deal as people are trying to make it out to be. It's something that could keep fans more interested and more locked in late in the game, put the stars on display more than they are now. Those are all good reasons to at least say, hey, what about this idea? And the good news is you got minor league baseball, TJ, like all these other rules, like the robot umpires, all these things. Go put in minor league baseball. See what it's like. Who cares?
And it's gimmicky, obviously. You know, that's what everybody's complaining about, and all the opinion pieces and everything.
Sure it is.
It's not, it's not what they watched in the 1980s and everything like that. So I agree that, minor league baseball, this is a thing that you'd see in, a low A, fall league, all-star game type of thing, and try it maybe. The thing is that I think that what they're getting away from is that they can put the golden at bat in, and the Royals can have Bobby Witt Jr. come up in the 9th inning, and Bobby Witt Jr. could strike out, and he probably, and he's going to get out 70% of the time because that's the way the baseball works. And it's not like, I don't know, everybody acts like it's going to be like an automatic bring him in and he's going to hit a bomb, and because that's not how baseball works. It's probably you could probably look at some odds makers or something like that, and the odds that Garrett Hampson in the 7th hole to get a hit is probably the same as Bobby Witt Jr. coming back up after 5 outs and everything like that. And I don't know.
It would change outcomes. Of course it would, but that's the point, right? Like I've seen some people say, well, man, you'd lose that player coming off the bench or that 9-hole hitter coming up with a big hit. And I'm like, guys, nobody cares about that. Like you would, it would be a part of the strat. And again, I'm not endorsing it. I don't know yet. I'd want to see it. I'd want to know what happens if Bobby Witt Jr. comes up and hits in the 9-hole when he's due up in the 2-hole in his next at bat. Does he get to bat twice? Probably not, right? You'd have to swap those hitters in the lineup. That's probably what it would come to. At one point in the game, you can choose to swap hitters in the lineup, and then they got to hit there the rest of the game. That's a pretty simple way to do it. It's just, you have to think about these things. And I say it all the time. You better adapt or you're going to die, whether it's conference realignment, whether it's baseball making the major changes they did to put a far better television product on the field. And a better product for the fans in the stadium, by the way. And what happens? Attendance is up. Ratings are up. Baseball's the healthiest it's ever been. Great. Because you know what the alternative to it is? Dying, which happens all the time. So if you have a chance to do something that enhances the enjoyment of your product, then you should always consider it and let it go through the proper channels. I would imagine that on the list of things to do for baseball, this is far down the list, right? Let's see how we can get an automatic balls and strikes done. That's the only place where I think you could add a computer element to the game instead of a human umpire to make an improvement that didn't negatively impact things. Everybody, pitchers, catchers, coaches, hitters, everybody wants a consistent strike zone. Okay. That should be pretty easy to do. You put the box in there, it's either green or it's red, right? Like, that's not hard to do. But let's get there. And that is what's on the forefront of things. Replay challenges, ball and strike replay challenges. I know they're trying some of this stuff in the minors, and I know it's getting some good reviews from people I've talked to. Like, fans are loving some of this stuff. So it's a far way off, but let's stop with, we just can't even think about it. Like, what we can't change the game. We can't do that. What the hell? Babe Ruth would be rolling over in his grave. No, Babe Ruth would be counting his money. That's what Babe Ruth would be doing.
Yeah, I think that the thing is, even with the pitch clock and even with the shift and the rules that they've made that have helped the game in ways that it has helped the game, adding the golden at bat feels like the devil's advocate here is that it feels like that you're trying to appeal to a basketball fan, or you're trying to appeal to a football fan, because that's what makes basketball and football so great. And I just don't think that that's going to work. You're not going to get somebody that doesn't like baseball to watch a baseball game because it's like, wait a minute, Shohei could come up in the ninth here. You may get a couple, but I don't think this is going to revitalize the game of baseball. It's going to be a wrinkle for already baseball fans. And I feel like already baseball fans aren't asking for this. As you said, they're asking for, robot umpires, everything like that. This is just going to be it's just unnecessary. It's not going to be anything that's going to, help the game, in my opinion. It'd be cool. It's cool to think about what would happen, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to really matter one way or another, and it feels gimmicky, so I'm kind of out on it, but I understand why the idea is there.
It is gimmicky, and I'm not supporting it. I'm not saying do this. I don't know that I like it. I'm saying I don't hate it.
True.
Max, you're an old baseball guy. You probably hate this, don't you? You probably think this is the worst idea that's ever been come up with, and it would ruin baseball. That's a stereotype, but are you feeling that way right now about this conversation?
I grew up in Fenway Park when I was a baseball fan. My uncle
What do you think about this idea?
Broadcasted for the Sox.
What do you think about this idea?
No. It's like the invisible man on second and extra innings. No.
What did you think about the 3-point line when it was implemented, though? Like, I would imagine people were just as hostile to that idea.
It came from the ABA.
Right. But just the idea, but it did change the game. Like, I can't think of a rule change in any sport across the major sports that we watch that changed the game more than the 3-point line did. And I'm sure it seems again, I don't want to make it sound like I think we should do this. I'm not saying that, but test it out in the minors, see what it looks like. Is it that big a deal? Do fans like it? I'm going to guess that fans would love it, by the way, which is why it's even being considered. You're telling me a stadium full of people at Kauffman Stadium in the 9th inning at Bobby Witt Jr., you don't think that's going to be entertaining to the fans?
It would.
They'd love it. They'd love it. I don't know. I'm glad you chimed in there, Max. We're glad to have you this week, by the way.
I'm just afraid it's going to come down to Jacob. Soon they'll be letting the batter throw the ball in the air and hit it.
Yeah.
In the
one time a game. I get it. I look, I understand. Is there a Pandora's box? I'm not sure. What I'm happy about is baseball's open to change, which it never was before. Like, open to become adaptable to make the product better. Competition's never been as fierce. All right, we're right up against it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, wrap up Sports Daily right after this.
A new era of chicken is here to stay, and it's not your parents' poultry. The Cantina Chicken menu from Taco Bell is slow roasted and perfectly seasoned. Take it tacoed up in a crispy white corn tortilla with cheese inside and out, or wrapped in a burrito with fresh purple cabbage and fresh.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time.
All right, that's it for us. Thanks for being here, TJ. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow for some picks. Brandon Zinner will be in. Max will be back with us. All kinds of fun as we make our way through this Sports Daily week. Looking forward to it. Paul Savage in for picks as well. TJ, nice job.
Absolutely. Big Shocker volleyball match tonight. Playoffs.
Here we go. The postseason begins. Shocker women's basketball right here on KFH as well. We'll have it all covered for you tomorrow. Sports Daily, Albrock, Cleveland. We'll see you then.